Oh yeah. Okay, today we're going to jump into what I call the ultimate zero down investment hack. This is kind of exciting because when I started peeling the onion back on this, like about 3 years ago, I started looking at the power of being able to find certain types of investments that I could get into that would give me a ridiculous rate of return, particularly because I didn't stick any money into it, zero money into it, and then all of a sudden you start pulling all of this money back out of it. And it created this ridiculous amount of return. And like when I look at some of the investors that I know, like they always try to figure out how to acquire assets and have control of them without actually having to stick money into it. Therefore, you get the ultimate return on investment because you got no money into it. But you've got to be able to do this in a way that's safe. Like take, for example, you've got Donald Trump. Now, I'm not saying that he's the best investor in the world. What I am saying is that he's rich. And one of the methodology he has is he could go out and he could buy an entire hotel, okay? He could buy the entire thing with cash, just write out a check, and he could do it. But you'll see that he never does that. And what you're going to discover is he would take and go acquire that asset, but he'd go get financing to do it so that he could then take and obtain the asset, control over it, so that as inflation or all these things started catching up or kind of jumping out at you, like if he bought it for $1 billion, but it went up to 1.5 billion because inflation stepped into it, but he invested zero money into it, he's got $500 million increase in his net worth as a result of inflation alone without having stuck a dime into it. You see what I mean? Got another friend that is a successful investor, and he's never declared bankruptcy like Trump did. Like you can say Trump didn't, but maybe his businesses did. Okay, so my friend, he's got this huge portfolio, and every time he goes and acquires assets, his big question is how can I acquire this asset in a way that's safe, that allows me to possess the asset, to be able to derive rents, to be able to derive income from the asset without actually having to pump all my money into it. And because he wants the cash in his checking account. And every time he does that, or every time he finds an asset, he always runs it through that test. Because, I mean, if you think about it, if you have to buy every house you bought or every investment you bought and you had to put 20% down on it, I mean, look at your checking account. And the question is how long and how many assets could you then take and control without sticking 20% down on it? You see what I mean? All of a sudden your checking account starts running really lean, and all of a sudden you have a harder time participating. So what you would do is now think through this again. What if you could take and acquire real estate, buy an asset, okay, that gives you cash flow, that benefits you on a monthly basis. And in addition, you didn't actually have to put any money into it. And as you pay down the rent or you pay down the mortgage or whatever it is on this thing, you actually increase your ownership on it. So zero into it, you're paying down the mortgage, and you get ownership in the asset, and then it creates cash flow for you. How many of those deals could you take if you could get your hands on it with no money down? See what I mean? Got a friend that he does that very, very thing. He takes and he acquires almost all of his real estate with zero down, and his return's phenomenal and made him like buco rich. And so sometimes trying to figure out how to buy these investments with zero money down is not super easy for everybody to parse and to figure out how to do it. So what I'm going to show you today is one of the ultimate hacks on being able to step into this game to acquire an asset, to create cash flow for you, put money in your checking account on a monthly basis, and being able to acquire this thing with zero money down. How many of you be interested in that, right? Okay, I'm taking to show this to you. So one of the things that I'm involved in is solar. Now you might ask, Mike, why would you be involved in solar? Okay, let's just take a look at the vehicle and see what you get. This is like one of the ultimate no money down hacks that's available. It works for people right now. Now, I don't think it's going to continue to work like this forever. But we're inside a window in which we can take and do this, okay? So here's the deal. The first thing is you already have an electric bill. Take a look at it. In the last, 10 years, 20 years, that you've actually possessed a property, something that you've lived in. How long during that entire time have you had an electric bill? Okay. If you were staying with your parents, okay, that may be different because they had an electric bill, but you still participated by consuming electricity. Maybe we can say it a little bit like that. But if you look back, you will probably say that as long as you can remember, you've had electricity and you've consumed electricity. In essence, electricity is almost like heroin, and you're almost an addict because you become addicted to this product and you consume it on a daily basis. Everybody does. You're not alone. Okay. I consume this on a daily basis. So the vehicle is you start looking at solar. Solar is a solution that can deliver the same electricity to your house, but it can deliver it to you at a cheaper price. Usually quite a bit cheaper. And so when I sit down with folks, I had a client last week where his summer electric bill was $350 and his solar came out to $97 a month. That's about right where his lowest utility bill is. During the summer, I saved this guy almost $250 a month during that period of time. During about a 4-month window, I save him about $1,000 a year during the summer alone. Okay. So if you look at it, it's a vehicle that can deliver the electricity you currently consume, but it can deliver it at a lower cost. I mean, would you rather pay $350 for your electricity during the summer? Or would you rather pay $97? Right? So you can see that it makes sense. The number's penciled, 97. If it saves you $1,000 a year on your electricity, and maybe you're like, my electric bill's not that high, and that's fine. So I've got another client right now. His electric bill is like $250 in the summer. His solar payment's less. And it's like that. It's always like that. If you buy the solar correctly, it's always like that. And it's always less than what you're currently paying. Okay. And so solar is the vehicle that delivers a product to you that you're addicted to at a lower cost. So that's secret number one. You're addicted to it, and solar can deliver it at a lower cost. Okay. Here's secret number two. Secret number two is because solar has taken off and has done so well, the banks and the finance institutions that I work with are now allowing me to take and issue this or offer this to clients with zero money down. Now look at the power of that. You can take and control a vehicle that, like the vehicle right here from day one, it creates cash flow for you. If you look at your checking account, this is how you look at it. If you look at your checking account as a result of having solar on your house, do you in fact have more cash in your checking account at the year end, even on a monthly basis? And the answer is, if you do it correctly, the answer is yes, you do have more cash in your checking account every single month. Okay. So then you look at two. Did I actually have to put money down to be able to acquire this asset and to put it up on top of my house? And the answer is no. If you do it correctly, the answer is no. You put it up on your house with zero money down on it. Okay. And the cool thing is, as you take and you make your solar payments, which is less than your utility bill, you actually, part of that is principal and part of that is interest. You are actually paying down the cost of the solar system so that you are actually end up owning your asset. And the cool thing is these solar systems, like these systems I use now, they got a 50-year useful life. The panels themselves have a 30-year production guarantee or production output guarantee, meaning that it will deliver the promised power that it's supposed to, and they're guaranteeing it for 30 years. So what they did is they literally took all the risk off the table by saying, put this thing up on your house that's going to produce all this power. And it's like your utility company starts doing rate increases, like the solar panels don't care because they don't do rate increases. They have one job, and that's just to produce power at the lowest possible cost. Okay. So secret number two, solar allows you to get this asset on top of your house with zero money down. Okay. Secret number three. Okay. This is the reward for being a homeowner. Like when you think about it, you had the opportunity to rent a property and you probably decided against that. And the reason is, if you think about it, the reason I decided I want to own a property versus renting it is the rent cost of rent continues to go up and up and up and up and up and up. The cost of my mortgage does not. Maybe they'll jack up my property taxes, and I don't like that, right? But it doesn't change the fact that on the long term, when I got a mortgage, I was able to lock in the cost of my housing long term, so I don't have to continue paying these increased in rents. Okay. The secret is by being able to make that decision, you position yourself to start building a nest egg or equity in your home as a result. Solar allows you to do the same thing. And so if you're a homeowner, So this is where solar will allow you to step into this game. Okay. If you're a homeowner and you have a credit score of 640 and above, then you could qualify for getting solar. And so what you can see is we have discovered that when you take and you save people money, the default rate on solar is low enough that we can now put it on your house with zero money down, and we can make it so that we can go all the way down to like a 640 credit score and drop the solar on top of your house. And so when you look at it, when I take and I run these numbers on solar, trying to figure out, calculate my return on investment, upfront cost, zero. Cash flow, drops cash in my checking account every month because my outgoing expenses have just gotten reduced so that I can retain more for what I want. Like when I look at it and I run these numbers, when I drop solar on somebody's house, okay, I have in essence created an opportunity to fund, like say if it's $1,000 a year I take and I save them, I have in essence created a vehicle to fund their vacation for the rest of their life. They can now just use the utility company's money, the delta between the solar and the utility company's money, to actually fund their vacation. A few of my friends are hunters. Like the guy can now buy a gun every year. When I pitched that to a friend of mine and stuff, and I mentioned it to him, his wife looked at it, was like, "Nuh-uh, we got something else in mind for that, because I'm going to fund," and she started naming off college and all these different things. But it was kind of funny. But nevertheless, it is a vehicle, without changing your lifestyle, it's a vehicle that actually literally comes in and funds vacations or trips or adventures or whatever it is that you find that's more important to be able to stick this money into. In fact, if you were to take and save all the money, you see that the utility companies do rate increases on a yearly, most of the time like on a yearly basis, but it's going up significantly. If you were to take and to save the money between your solar payments and what the utility rates have been increasing it on a 30-year period, most folks, when I sit down and run this, they'd save probably $60,000, $70,000. And that's not changing a lifestyle. That's just saying I would rather own my power rather than renting it from the utility company for life. Okay. And so that's it. Those are the three secrets. If you want the ultimate no money down hack, and you don't know how to buy real estate with no money down, and you don't know how to buy, acquire assets or businesses or any of that stuff with no money down, one hack that is right here, right now, in the interim, is solar. And this is the secret number one: was you already have an electric bill. You just pay a whole lot less if you drop solar on your house. Secret number two is you can buy it with zero money down. And the secret number three is if you're a homeowner and you got a 640 credit score or better, they are willing to take into finance it and put solar on your house with zero money down, which allows you to build equity and allows you to save. If your bill's kind of high, about $1,000 a year, your bill's lower. I mean, what you're saving is less, but you're spending less, right? So anyway, that's kind of the ultimate zero money down hack to get you into the game so that you can start thinking like an investor and start acquiring and accruing assets. Anyway, so this is a Rags Riches transformation video, and look forward to sharing the next one with you guys. Later.